Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode here on ESGNet. And this is week 5 video here, as this is episode number 34 here in the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise here on Madden 17. And we are looking at week 5. As I said, this is a bye-week video, so that means we'll be showing you guys some numbers, what's going on around with the ball club, and also what's going on around the league real quick here in this video. So as you take a look here, there's our injury report so far. Of course, Darius Hayward-Bay still on the IR, as he is still tending to his injury there, a groin tear. He's going to be out for the remainder of the season. He has 23 weeks left. Now, if my calculations are correct, which I think I did it a couple of times now, if we do make it to the playoffs, he could have a good chance to play possibly in the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. So there's a good chance that he could still be there if if once we can get him off the IR there. But that just depends. And at this point, I'm talking to the coaching staff and to the doctors there, and they said that pretty much it's just the best bet that his season is over with. But he's we've talked to him and actually had an interview with Hayward-Bay there. He said he wants to play if he has the opportunity to play. If the doors open for him to come in and play and try to help the team out, if they're in a position there to repeat as world champions, then he wants to be there. So take a look here at the standings as we go and we talk about the league. But yeah, that would be a great addition to our ball club. And of course, having him back on the field there, is always great. Love seeing him on the field, as he is one of our top, or one of our speedy wide receivers there. So having him there would really do some good for us. Now, as we take a look at the standings here, as we take a look here at the AFC East, the Patriots there 3-1. They are always looking good. Of course, now no Tom Brady, and I remember Tom Brady retired after last season, and so they are doing pretty well without Tom. Still got Gronk and a couple others there. So Jimmy Garoppolo is actually doing pretty well there, and as the lead guy there for the Patriots. Now, so the AFC West, you see Broncos, Chiefs, Raiders, and Chargers. I believe we have a game against each of those teams there coming up here in the next couple of weeks there. So it's going to be interesting. We've already defeated the Raiders in the game. We gave them, we defeated them in a lopsided game there in week 4. So we'll see what we can do against the other AFC West teams. Now, NFC North, Packers are still one of the teams that are undefeated at 4-0. Lions, they're 3-1, and the Vikings 2-1 1-2-1, and the Baer still looking for their first wins. They're still winless, as they are 0-4 going into week 5. So right now, Packers, along with us, and I think there's one other team still left undefeated. That would be the Saints right there. Saints. Even though the Saints have not lost a game, they've tied a game so far. They have not lost a game officially yet, but they are 3-0-1. Panthers are 3-1. Falcons are 1-2. Now, I don't know who else they tied with, but that's twice now they have tied now here this season. And I think that's a first for me, really. I think playing Madden games, I've never seen a team to tie in 4 weeks twice. So that's interesting there. And then NFC East, got the Eagles still undefeated with 3-0. They have a bye week. They just had their bye week not too long ago. Giants 3-1, Cowboys 2-2, and the Redskins 1-3. So Eagles looking very sharp there with Case there. He's throwing the ball very well there, the Eagles, and they got a pretty good running game. As looking at some of their stats there, And then finally, the NFC West, you got the Seahawks 3-0 going to their bye week, as they are week 4 was their bye week, and then now they're still undefeated. Cardinals right there behind them with a 3-1. 49ers 1-3, and then the Rams are 0-4. So the Bears and the Rams competing for, I guess, that number 1 pick there in the NFL draft coming up. So those are your current standings right now as we go into week 5. So hopefully your team that you guys are into is doing well. If not, well, we'll see how their season goes as we go to getting close to the midpoint of the season here. So here's some of the league news here. I'm not going to really get into to too many things there. You see a couple of re-signings here. You got Morgan Burnett for the Packers there. He's going to re-sign. He's got an extension there of $22.1 million. It's a 4-year contract extension there for him. Of course, you got some other players here making some re-signing there. For us, excuse me, Ryan Shazier, he recently just signed a 4-year contract or 4-year extension with us, so we have him now as our key middle linebacker there. There you see some of the other news there around the league. We got Derek Carr, who I was kind of just disappointed. I mean, playing against him in that Week 4 matchup against us. Really thought the Raiders' offense was going to be really as great as they were last year. Really doing a good job there running the ball. Really good, trying to mix the plays up and really work for us. And I guess, I mean, in some ways I'm kind of upset that they didn't play as well as they did last year. But at the same time, I'm kind of happy that our defense really did a great job there stepping up. I think I kind of mentioned that in our in episode 19 of Steelers Nation. I'm really glad this defense so far, these first four weeks here, they've really stand their ground. They are really getting forcing teams, in 3 and outs, getting good field position, flipping the field very well for our offense. And the offense has really did a great job there, just really taking their time, marching down the field, and just really eating up clock, and just putting the ball club down. Even though we've had a couple times now where we try to run the ball in the red zone there, and of course there's been some teams here like the Raiders, even the Ravens and the Raiders and the Ravens and the Raiders. And I can't think of the other team, who the other team was, but really did a great job of just really stopping us so far with the run, because we've had a really slow start with Bell, and I'm hoping that it'll change here if we start running or we start passing the ball a little bit more, and that will really wear them out to the point where then we can switch it up and run the ball a little bit more against them or against other teams. So that's something we're looking at. Also, too, trying to get Cobb into in the mix there when it comes to run the ball also. Just take a look here at some of the news that are going around. A lot of players re-signing with their current ball club right now, and nothing too crazy with a lot of the some of the stories here. But it's just some of the few stories that have been making a splash here within the league. So just some news and notes there. Occasionally I'm going to try to show you guys this kind of stuff here when we do these especially when we do the Steelers Nation videos, show you guys what's been going on those 2 weeks we every now I think we're doing Steelers Nation now every 2 weeks instead of every 4. So just kind of show you guys what's going on in the league and who's doing what and whatnot. So you guys can pause the video, try to read what the some of the insiders are saying about teams and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part here, for us, I think we're doing very, very well. And I'm hoping that it will continue on here, especially with the defense, the way the defense has been playing here. Really helping out the offense, putting up big numbers as they go along here. Now, take a look at season stats. There you see 1,377 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions for Ben Roethlisberger. We'll just kind of go down the line here. Some of the big names, some of the big name quarterbacks here within the league and what they're doing so far. Ben just doing really great here. Now, he does have 4 interceptions here. He had 2 alone in one of the games. I want to say it's the first game of the season. So really tough start there, but with actually 14 touchdowns and 7 interceptions now. But yeah, he's had a tough start there. Not really seeing the ball very well. Kind of questioning if it's been kind of rumor has it that his eyesight is not doing so well. And as far as we know, it's not true. He did get his eyes tested, and the doctor and the optometrist said that his eyes were well. He could, it's just bad decision making, and that's what they're working on some things right now on practice, helping him make some better decision making skills. He's talking to him during after practice like that. He says that he's doing some drills that he used to do when he was back in school there, and just trying to work things out and trying to get himself back into that top, that elite top shape. Trying to make better decisions on when to throw it, when to release it. And that's been kind of a little bit of a problem for him so far. Now, yes, and within the first 4 games, he has given up 7 interceptions, which is a little scary there. But for the most part, he is not too worried about that. He's just trying to shake that the game jitters there that he has starting the season. And of course, making that tough run here, trying to go back to the Super Bowl is always a tough thing. Always kind of on your mind that you want to be able to repeat and do better and perform better than you did last year. So trying to show people that you're growing as a quarterback. But at the same time, they're kind of trying to pull some of the reins here, trying to call plays that trying to, I guess, cut back on letting him call the plays that he wants to call, and try to stay kind of scripted to what they want to run, or in this case, pass in certain situations with Ben and with his receiving core. So by far, he has the best receiving core right now in the league. But yeah, they want to just try to minimize his interceptions here. The goal is to try to stay within, stay below 10. But it's been kind of hard for him to do that. He's been throwing almost close to 35, or I should say 40 passes a game. They want to try to minimize that down to at least to 30, anywhere from 30 to 35. But again, it's been tough because a lot of these teams like the Raiders and the Ravens, and even the Washington Redskins that we played, really have a tough red zone defense, especially when it comes to rushing. They can really stack the box there, put 8 men in the box, really put a lot of their speedy linebackers in there to really stuff the the holes that he has to run out of, and really get in the backfield and really just push them back. So that loss of yards there, and getting those even in some cases those coverage sacks, really just doing a good job of just knowing when Ben's going to snap the ball and just knowing the snap count. And that's something we're going to have to look at here as we move along through the season. Receiver wise here, just take a look at some of the receiver numbers there, and of course our guys that are up in there in the top 10 in some categories there when it comes to receiving. We'll take a look here at touchdowns here, and Bryant has the most right now. He has 5, and of course right behind him is the longtime Cardinal Larry Fitzgerald, who currently has 4 for the season. So Bryant doing a good job here. Last year he had a really good hot start there, but then it kind of fizzled out as we got to the midpoint of the season, and we're trying to get him involved a little bit more. Antonio Brown, of course, both guys are on the contract year right now and trying to impress us here. Antonio Brown, trying to get him more involved, as he was not too much involved in last year's season, as he was kind of Well, he had an injury there for a while there, and then he had just a tough time trying to come back from the injury. And then towards the playoffs there, he was heating up. But for the most, was kind of left in the background because of guys like Ladarius Green here, who has 3 touchdowns so far, 415 yards with 27 receptions here. He's had a slow start here so far, and we're hoping that will also turn around as we are working on possibly making him and Jesse James, or I like to call him the Outlaw there, split up snaps, split up reps as the first tight end, and try and change them up in formations there so they're not always in the same formation, and that they're not always on the field at the same time. We're actually going to be putting our fullback. And we've been working on some practice plays here. I had footage of it, but I decided not to put it up here. But I put our fullback in that position there as in certain formations there to be the backup, kind of the guy that can swing back and forth as the tight end fullback on certain formations there. So that's what we're looking at here right now with that. Like I said, we're just kind of messing around with the playbook here as we want to try to switch things up and get some things moved around here so we don't look like we're running the same plays or running the same kind of personnel on the field there. So really doing that and working on that during practice here. And a lot of the practice here have been kind of laid back and easy going here. And I think that's been helping out a lot with the wins that we've been having here, especially that win that we had against the Ravens. It was a 30 or something, 40. I don't know. It was I don't know. Or maybe it was against the Raiders. I think we only gave out. The defense only gave out 7 against the Raiders, but it was like a 51-7 game. That week's practice going into that game, really laid back, not sure. We looked at a lot of game film, and of course the big emphasis was trying to stop them, not get them to move the ball down the field, which we did so. There was a lot of times where we forced them a 3-and-out, or we were able to get a turnover by either fumble or in a lot of cases interception. So really lay back practice, and we're hoping to do this so coming up here in week 6 as we come out this bye week here and get ready for the kind of the mid half here. We're getting close to the midpoint of the season, and get ready for the first game after the bye week here, which will be of course against the Cleveland Browns. So and of course the Browns have not won a game yet. They're 0-4. They're looking for their first victory here coming up as we go into as we're in week 5 right now and going to week 6. We'll see how they'll get going here as we wrap this week 5 video up here pretty soon. But there you see the numbers there. We're not really, of course, looking at kicking there. I'm not going to get into those. You guys can, they're pretty simple. You guys can look at those and pause those. But just really impressed so far these first four weeks with the defense. Offense could be get a little bit better there. We got to try to run the ball a little bit more. We got to be solid when we come to the running game here, and really finish out blocking and open up the holes there for Bell. Because without Bell, we don't really have a running game, or really without Bell or Cobb getting good blocking, we don't have a running game, and that's what's going to cause Ben to throw the ball more than we want him to, and we want to avoid that. We don't want him to be throwing 40, 50, 60 times a game. We want to minimize that down to keep him around that 30 to 35 times a game by having the running game involved in there. I'm also implementing that if we by third quarter or so, if we're up by I think two or more possessions, we're going to start putting in some backups. So start rearranging the receiving core get some of those younger receivers in the game a little bit more. Also, give our backup quarterbacks there, get them some snaps there, so we can get them involved a little bit more, so we're not wearing out Ben. By the time we get to like last year when we were red hot and Ben was throwing a lot of touchdowns and really getting away, reading the defense very well and avoiding getting sacked or getting picked off. And then kind of after the week 10, and that's when you start seeing a lot of bad play calling, bad decision making, which I guess I kind of linger over now to this season. But just having him be able to have that, just that fresh look at things, I think I want to start getting some of these the backups in, so we can play more of the short game route where we're not throwing the ball as many times with Ben in the course of the game, especially if we're up by like how we were with the Raiders there. At some point there, we should have brought in a backup, brought in Bruce or brought in Laundry in there to play the quarterback position and give Ben some rest there for the work that he done in that game. So, but yeah, for the most part, just like I said, really glad, and hopefully we'll be able to get better here as we move along here in this season. So, really, I would have to say I give this so far these first 4 weeks, and especially these last 2 weeks here. I give it a B. I give it a B plus. I really will. I will give it a B plus. Offense can be a little bit better. Like I said, in the running game there, we've just been really having a tough start with the running game. It's been a really kind of a slow start for us, but hopefully it will get better as we go along here, and as we get closer and closer to the midpoint of the season, where hopefully Bell can just really go after it and really run the ball and take over. All right, take a look at some of your top players here in the first 4 weeks. You see, of course, Bryant there, AFC Offensive Player of the Week there in Week 1. There you see the Week 2 award winners there. We got the Raiders, with their defensive there. Like I said, the 2 weeks in a row there, Smith, and then of course, Week 3, Mack, who has been on fire. And then Ben Roethlisberger, he got to AFC Offensive Player of the Week there. He had a great game, like I said, against the Raiders there, and a big victory. Decent victory there, 34-17 there in that victory. Ravens 51-10 the week before that. And of course, these victories have been very successful. Just take a look here at the rest of the season there. You got Ravens coming up, which are next, will be the second time we face them over the course of the season. And then we don't face, after the Browns, we don't face any other opponents until our rivals until Week 13. You see against the Bengals there in Cincy, and then again in the Week 15 at home against the Browns. So Ravens, we're almost done with them for the season. We've already won a game against them. The second game is going to be at home. It's going to be a tough game, but we'll be able to do it. But our first time this season meeting up with the Browns, as you see there, they won a game, finally got a win, and they'll see if they can try to build onto that one win and turn it into 2 as they take us on in Week 6. So there you see, just 16 weeks away from the Super Bowl, 22 weeks away from the draft, and we're going to see what we can do here in Week 6 as we're trying to pick up our 5th win of the season. And we'll see if the Browns can be able to spoil that. After Week 7, between weeks 7 and 8, we're gonna have another video coming up here. You guys should be seeing a video of Steeler Nation coming up. Of course, that'll be a review of the last 2 weeks, weeks 3 and 4. But the next episode, which will be episode 20 of Steeler Nation, after this next Steeler Nation come out, which is actually 19. When we get to episode 20, we'll show you guys more of the scouting what we're doing. That'll be a special that we'll do. We'll still do, we'll show what happened those previous week 6 and 7. But we'll also step back some, and we'll actually showcase some more, or actually a first look at some college players that we'll be looking at here this season. We got a couple of them that we're looking at, and how we're going to go and approach this upcoming draft here coming up towards the end of the season. So that will be coming up in episode 20 of Steeler Nation. Stay tuned for that, as we're getting, like I said, halfway point here of the season. I can't believe it already. So that is it for today's episode, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the week 5 bye week wrap up here. Couldn't show you everything I wanted to show you guys, but just a little bit of what's been going on here so far, and kind of just talk about what's happened so far in the weeks 3 and 4, and then overall the first 4 weeks of the season. So thank you guys so much. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more Pittsburgh Steelers franchise here on ESGNet. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And as always, keep yourselves healthy. And I will see you guys next time.